The argument which is being made is that by many who support crackers being allowed are saying that, look, for the last 15 days, and we can go back to exactly 2 weeks and we'll show you that graphic of how pollution levels continued to rise when there was no crackers, and in some instances, in some parts, was actually higher a week ago when there was stubble burning. So are crackers the soft target for the Supreme Court? Here is Rajat Sethi saying the Supreme Court needs to get more practical, get more real. Cracker ban is not going to work, A, and B, crackers are not the sole reason for pollution in the national capital.
See, relief and rescue is not needed only in Uttarakhand but also in NCR area. Why I am saying so? That before Diwali, it was stubble burning, one of the major contributor as far as the air pollution is concerned. But after the Diwali, what happened that these crackers, the burning of crackers come into the picture, and then there is a high rise of the air pollution. But at the same time, what I wish to say that apart from the political issues which these both parties enjoy the blame game, okay. But as a common citizen, I just wish to know from the learned expert panel members that what is the solution? What the solution is? What is the solution which the Rajat may provide, and what is the solution which the Aam Aadmi may provide?
I'll come to the solution. I want to know, is the Supreme Court being impractical? Let me take that for a moment to Vimlendu Jha, because as an environmentalist...
Never, sir, never. Supreme Court was never impractical.
You're saying Supreme Court was not impractical. Vimlendu Jha?
Even the NGT and...
1 minute. Let me get the environmental perspective. Is the Supreme Court being impractical to say, let's have a cracker ban? You can't ban stubble burning. Now you can't ban crackers. And stubble burning as well as transport and other issues are as much responsible at this time of the year as crackers. So why focus on crackers? That's the argument being made by those who want crackers to be allowed.
So Rajdeep, in any sane and mature society, you would not need the courts of your country to tell you whether you'd want to give stunted lungs to your children. Ideally, the society should really behave on its own. We don't want our Supreme Courts to get into a realm of governance, one, and the other is realm of public good that Rajat was actually talking about. So of course, firecrackers are not the main reason why Delhi is a toxic city. And Anjali Rai was actually lying through her nose when she was saying that, Delhi has had 200 good air days. Delhi has had the first good air day on September 10th, 0 good air days in October. The only good air day or semi-good air day that we perhaps had was in November, and only because it rained. So therefore, it's not something that the government of Delhi actually did, because of which Delhi's air improved. As you rightly said, it's because of the weather in that sense. There are perennial sources of pollution, and all our political representatives sitting here, they have completely failed to understand that why is it important to really have fresh air or better air in the entire region, locally, regionally, or nationally. And all those sources are known to us. As an Aam Aadmi Party, there's a deficit of 6,000 buses. The central government, we do not know who the environment minister of our country is, and why should the central government not be convening an emergency meeting? What can be more emergency than this? Perhaps WHO and other bodies have said that this is more dangerous than COVID-19. 2 million people dying every year, and still. So, of course, Supreme Court imposing a ban, of course, Supreme Court imposing a ban on various other things, and that completely not followed by the citizenry.
No, but it seems like sound and fury, Vimlendu. The Supreme Court seems like sound and fury, disconnected with the reality on the ground. Either you have effective enforcement, you give the police the powers to ensure that if anyone violates the ban, they are arrested. That won't happen. The police turns a blind eye. So what's the point of a ban then?
Absolutely, Rajdeep, and that's why sometimes we as citizens, we need to understand that our right to breathe is more important than our right to celebrate a toxic festival. Diwali is not about toxicity. Diwali is not about 30 times worse PM 2.5 levels that we woke up to. You have a bad throat today, and every other child, every other ICU is inundated with patients. And therefore, it is not about what the Chief Minister of Assam is talking about, his right to celebrate patakas, or so on and so forth. We are talking indeed, 15 days ago, the air quality was 999, and it was not because of patakas. We agree. But we need to look at episodic sources of pollution, and we need to look at perennial sources of pollution, not just the tutu meme, and not this entire, intellectual bigotry that sometimes we hear about. Let's look at religion, what Rajat was talking about. Sorry, I didn't mean to offend Rajat in that sense. But we need to look at if something pollutes, firecrackers, green firecrackers or non-green or blue firecrackers, everything pollutes. We need to ban it. When we have a public health emergency, when the entire region is in ICU, you cannot look for excuses to please your gods or please yourself.
Okay, those are strong. Those are strong words. You're saying the moment whether it's a firecracker or whether it's stubble burning, if it is seen as a pollutant, we are going to have to, or transportation, we're going to have to find ways around it. I just want to put some numbers again. Particulate matter 2.5, which was the main pollutant, shot up as firecrackers were burst across the capital. Just look at the numbers, because a number of people have said firecrackers had no impact on the air yesterday. The truth is they did. According to the Delhi Pollution Control Committee website, PM 2.5 at Anand Vihar was 374 at 10 PM last night. This shot up to 957 at 11 PM. It further went up to, look at this number, 1,985 at midnight. Just to give you a sense, you would expect this to be well below 100 if you really wanted healthy air. Now we are at 1,985 at midnight as crackers were being burst. It came down to 1,025 at 1 AM and 2 AM. At 7 AM, it was down to 397. At 11 AM, it settled at 141. The standard for PM 2.5 is 60 micrograms per cubic meter. So, Rajat Sethi, while you have every right to say, look at Parali, look at stubble burning, the failures of the Aam Aadmi Party government in Punjab, the truth of the matter is, when I look at these numbers, firecrackers are a contributor, if only for 24 hours, you might argue, but they are a contributor.
Yes, they are a contributor for 4 or 6 hours at max. Your data also clearly says that. And ever since we were children, we've been celebrating Diwali. We knew one night, especially a couple of hours around that, around the peak time when the crackers were fired, the pollution did go up, but the following day it was business as usual. There is something systematically which is going wrong now, which wasn't the case, say, a decade back or 15 years back or 2 decades back. There is something amiss. What is amiss is that the way Punjab and Haryana belt, the entire paddy fields there are being constantly fed with MSP money. All the farmers have put all their eggs in the paddy basket.
Harvesting season, I want to correct this. I have spoken to environmentist Rajat. What has happened is the harvesting season, which used to take place in September, has been pushed back to the end of October. So it comes around the time of Diwali. It comes even as wind speeds become lower. Therefore, the particulate matter settles down. It's a complex issue. My point is, why should politicians and public figures say, no, we won't listen to the Supreme Court? That's the danger.
See, because the problem, Rajdeep, you need to understand is you're cherry picking one thing, which doesn't even have a permanent impact on Delhi's air. It has had an impact. Clearly, your data shows it is back to a level which is normal level. 141 is what your data is showing at 11 AM, which means that this hasn't had like a tremendous long gestation impact, wherein it is the smoke isn't clearing up from the Delhi skies for days to come. It is not like that. What you need to do is, again, as I said, banning is not an option in any mature democracy. It will just not work. Come up with solutions like green crackers. I mean, there can be a lot of innovation. A lot of these environmentalists, I'm not pointing it to Vimlindu here, but they all queue up in United States and look at the July 4th firecrackers. There they go and enjoy and clap. But when people want to celebrate one of the most important festivals of our country, and which has a distinctive feature of celebrating with lights and sounds, everybody has a problem.
Vimlindu?
Again, my point is, no amount of banning is going to work. We need to find technological solutions to be able to celebrate Diwali the way we have been celebrating for decades, and we'll continue to do that for centuries.